Okay, under the section called one-dimensional arrays in your book, chapter 7.1, and who knows, it may actually be on page 409. They change these things from time to time. We have an example, 7.1, entering elements in an array. And we want to make it possible to be able to enter a score into our array so that calculations can be made on that score. Okay? So I want to have myself a loop. And the very first thing I'm going to do is pretend like we're making lots of comments to code and all that kind of stuff. And the reason I'm not going to type in all the comments is to save time, number one. And number two, I am in truth commenting on the code as we go, right? So I want to create a loop that will allow me to put in, say, 25 scores, all right? So one way to do that is to say, for. Actually, let's print a message to the user, okay? I'll go print, quote, please enter 25 scores. And they're stuck with it. They're going to have to enter a full 25. Actually, I'm going to make life easy on myself and just say 10, all right? So that's what I want to do. Well, I'll say for I in range. Now we want to collect 10 scores, so we need to make sure and use 11 when we're doing range, all right? Because it stops on 11 or it stops on 10. How does it figure this out? Because if you will go to your book, on that page you're going to see where it says k is less than 25. It means that it never actually reaches 25. Okay? And in this case, it never actually reaches 10. So we need to make sure and do that. So there we go. Our loop is started, and we want to go ahead and send a message to the user and get the data inputted into our variable. Okay? So what is the point of this? Let's see. If we want to input final exam scores for a class of 25 students using an array named scores, which has 25 elements, we would use loop as follows. So we want to go ahead and create ourselves a handy dandy array. So up here I'm going to say student scores, std scores. Actually, that doesn't sound very nice, does it? student scores is equal to an array. So now we have an array declared, and now we're ready to get a score in there, right? So do you all remember how we needed to do that? Well, first of all, we need to go student scores. There's student scores. And is it dot append? Oh, there it is. Isn't that cool? So we'll go ahead and do the append. And what is it going to append? Well, we're going to input a value, right? And I could do this in 2 steps. And if you wish, maybe I will go back and do it in 2 steps, but hopefully you can handle it. In my mind's eye, I'm only thinking now of input. I just want to collect information, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go input. And what do we have to include with our input? input. A prompt, right? So I'm going to say enter score. I wonder if I can get away with a I won't bother with that. Enter score. Score SCRE. Except for it's got to be in quotes, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll put in a quote here like so. Make sure that I have a little bit of a space there. Close my quote because I want some score afterwards, and I think I'll go ahead and put in a colon. Enter score. And that's there, that's there. Looks like we're good to go, except for we want to do one more thing. As you recall, what is being typed is hopefully going to be an integer, right? And we could end up with a crash on our hands. If the person types in something other than an integer, it's going to crash. But I'm not going to worry about that just yet. str for string, assuming that the person is faithful to type in integers. I get to turn, actually not str, I want to turn it into an int. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it easier on you. I'm going to go ahead and just say one step at a time, and that can all be globbed together in parentheses if we want to, right? So the very first thing I'm going to say is score, S for score, str, like that, is equal to input the prompt, quote, enter, enter, the score, prompt like that, okay? And then once I've done that, I need to turn it into an integer, right? And in this case, I'll just call it s is equal to int s string, and there it is. Okay, so we've turned it into a score string, and now that we've done that, we are ready to put this into our array. And the way that we do that is student scores, there it is, dot append, that's what I want, and it's going to be s, just like that. Okay, and it's going to do this 10 times. And once I've gotten those in there, I want to go ahead and take a look at what they actually are. Okay, so I'll go print student, whoops, got to put our parentheses there. There it is. Go down one, student scores. We should be good to go. We'll save it and we'll run it. Enter the score, right? 2. Not very good scores, huh? But this is a quiz of only 10 questions. So some people did really good. Some people didn't do so good. There we go. It looks like it accepted every single one of them. So here we've taken Python and we've taken example 7-1 and we have inputted the scores for a single dimensional array. So then what if I want to know what the average student score is? Well, clearly we're going to have to find out what the maximum is, right? So what I can do is I can say for, and I can use I again, it doesn't matter, okay? I in student scores, whoops, st, there we go, in student scores, colon, and I need an accumulator, right? So let's come over here and I'll just say x is my accumulator, or ACCM for accumulator is equal to 0. So down here, let's go ahead and accumulate our scores. Hit enter. ACCM plus equals I, right? So that should tell us what the total value of all of our scores are. So let's go ahead and try that out, see how well it works. print ACCM. So let's put some parentheses around that. ACCM. There we go. And while I'm at it, I might as well just go ahead and put a little message too, right? Is comma there. Now I don't have to worry about the string business. And I'm going to get rid of this because I don't like putting a space between the function name and its arguments. So there we go. Let's see what happens. Hit the play button, enter the score. I think I might be typing in a little fast here, huh? Let's find out. Oh no, I wasn't. All right, so we're good to go. So it says the total is 63, and let's see, 4 plus 5 plus 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 4. Yeah, that looks pretty close. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's find out what the average is. Anybody have an idea how we figure out what the average is? That's right, class. We would take the total score as, or print the average is colon, comma, and we're going to put a little function in there, right? We're going to say ACCM divided by the length of our student scores. Okay? So it finds the length of the student scores and divides it into the average. And let's go ahead and run it again.